name is Felicia Wright, and this is the Go Rogue podcast. Do you feel stuck? Does every day feel like Groundhog's Day? Well, I'm here to tell you it's time to take charge of your life and know that you are meant for more than this. It's time to go rogue. This podcast is for people that are ready to say enough is enough and discover their new normal with entrepreneurship. Get ready because your rogue journey starts now. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to episode 27 of the Go Rogue podcast. In this episode, I want to talk about starting to plan for 2019 and some of the things I have learned and what I am discovering. So I wanted to really get into 2019. So I am recording this the week before Christmas. Christmas is next week. And I am really spending a ton of time trying to figure out what I want to do next year as far as the podcast is concerned, as far as business is concerned, and the brand. So I have been really hitting it hard, and it's really exciting to see how things are unfolding, and just planning in general can be so exciting. So I've got some fun things coming up that I'm really excited to share eventually, but not yet. I'm in the planning phase, so I am doing that. So I wanted to help you start planning your 2019 because I think it's really, really important. So I want to start off with when you are thinking about doing this or sitting down to do this, I want you to think about your history when it comes to goal setting. So for example, in the past, I would literally have one of those New Year's resolutions that I would be mindful of for about 2 to 3 weeks after January 1st, and then fall off the wagon, completely forget about it, and go back to doing what I was doing before. And this is a year where I just don't want to do that. And I want to be intentional with what I do for this upcoming year and the things that I want to achieve. So the reason why I say I want you to look at your history is because if you want something different, you have to do things differently. I am a true believer in that. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've got. So this year I am really starting to sit down and think about how I want to feel in 2019, how I want to be, what I want the year to look like, and really just writing all that down. Because in the past, I'd hear a lot of different goal setting workshops, and they'd say, write it down. And I'm like, oh, it's fine. I got it in my head. I don't need to write this down. And I'm realizing that there's some kind of magic when you write things down. It's like more cemented in your head, and you can almost feel it in your body because you're having to write it down or type it out. I use Google Docs for a lot of different things, but I do write things down as well. And it almost feels more serious since I'm writing things down. So what I want you to do is write out what you want 2019 to look like for you. And this is important. Don't just have it up in your head, jangling around up in there, because you're just going to completely forget about it, because I did that in years prior and it doesn't work. So you really have to sit down and craft out what you want the year to look like. So if you were like me and I wouldn't really do anything, or maybe I'd write down like one goal, don't do that. I really want you to be purposeful about it and write down what you want the whole year to look like. And granted, things might change, and they probably will, but just be open to them changing. So you have your baseline, and then you can change and grow as the year goes on. So one of the things I want you to write down is your top goals for the year, / priorities. So let me explain that a little bit. So for your goals, I want you to write down your income goal, your health goal, how do you want to feel, and just your overall goal for you. So it could be So the way I have it is there's a personal goal, there's an income goal, there's a health goal. So it really depends on what your priorities are, and write those down. I wouldn't say don't do more than 5. You kind of want to be laser focused with your priorities and goals. So don't write down more than 5, but write down those 5. Let's just stick with 5 for the sake of using examples here. So I would write down those top 5 goals and really start to examine how you're going to get there. And the way I do it, so I have my top goals at the top / priorities, and those things are going to drive my activities for the entire year. So I am one of those people where if I have some empty time, I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, what should I work on? What's going to be worth my time? And I've gotten a lot better about that. But now I want to get even better at it, because those goals and priorities are going to drive those empty times of like, okay, what do I do now? So if I'm ever in a funk or where I'm like, I don't know what to do, I'm just going to look back at those priorities and see how I can move the needle forward on one of those 5 goals. So break it down like that. And then I also have goals for each quarter. So if you don't know, you can break down the year into 4 quarters. That's how businesses usually run. They have quarterly goals. So I have taken those top priorities and broken them down into quarterly goals. So say, for example, let's say you just want to lose like 50 pounds over the course of the year, just for example. You might break that down into quarterly goals. So say the first month you only want to lose like 10 pounds because not the first month, the first quarter. Say the first quarter you only want to lose 10 pounds because it's your first time working out, you're learning new recipes, and you don't want to go too hard in that first quarter because you're in that learning phase. So the first quarter goal is to lose 10 pounds. So then maybe the second quarter goal, you want to lose 20 pounds because now you should have your eating in line and have like a set workout routine, and it'll be easier to lose more weight that second quarter. And then third quarter, say you just want to lose 10 pounds again. So say you're like, okay, well, I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. And if I slow down and only lose 10 pounds in that third quarter, that's okay. I'm still on track for my goal. And then quarter 4, you lose the remaining 10 pounds because that was your goal, to lose those 50 pounds over the course of the year. So if you look at it like that, you're basically breaking down those top goals, priorities into digestible chunks, because each quarter has 3 months in it. So you have 3 months to do those things. So if you break it down into quarters, and then from there, once you're in that quarter, break it down into monthly goals, it's just a little easier to digest. So if you just tell yourself, okay, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, it's like, okay, well, how am I going to do that? What does that look like? And I am a huge culprit of this, okay, I want to do X. I want to say I want to lose 50 pounds in the year. Once the year starts, I feel like I have all sorts of time. And what I mean by that is like, okay, so here comes January 1st. I think to myself, it's like, well, I don't have to work out today. I got the entire year to lose this 50 pounds. I don't have to do this today. And then you put it off. And then February rolls around. It's like, well, I've got another 10 months to lose this 50 pounds. So, you know what? I'm just going to put it off. And on it goes. And before you know it's November and I've gained like 10 pounds. It's like, wait, where did the year go? So, breaking it down into quarters and monthly goals is super helpful because it keeps you on track, and it's just not it's not a big daunting task anymore. It's little digestible chunks. So start with those top priorities and goals, break them down into quarterly goals. And then once you're in the quarter, then start to have those monthly goals. I hope that makes sense over there. It's really helpful. So definitely do that and you will love it. And then one of the last piece of advice I want to give you is don't get behind. So I know myself, and I know this is going to sound very irrational, but I know I can't be the only one that thinks this way. I've been hitting it hard now because I know if I put it off and do it, so say January 1st rolls around, January 2nd rolls around, and I haven't done any of this, I know for a fact for me that I'm going to feel like I'm behind. Like, oh, it's already January 2nd and I haven't come up with my plan. And granted, I have the rest, like I could literally do a plan on January 5th and still be good. But I know in my silly brain, I would think, oh, well, I'm already behind. That's what I automatically think. So I'm eliminating that feeling right now by getting it done now. And I know I will be tweaking it and changing things around, but I know now that I have a really good basic outline that I won't feel that way come January 2nd, 3rd, 5th, or whenever. Because I know if I wait, I'm going to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm behind already. I'm off on the wrong foot. And that's not something you want to think with the new year starting. So if you're like me and have some of those irrational thoughts, and I will say it's irrational, if you don't get to start planning until January 5th, I wouldn't feel guilty about it. I just know me and I would think I was behind. So I'm not going to do that to myself. So if that's you, don't do that to yourself. Get on it now. Christmas isn't until next week, so you got time. I would say carve out a good 2 to 3 hours to really hone in on what you want and breaking it down into actionable steps for you. And then as you go, you will be tweaking this. So I hope that was helpful. Definitely let me know over on social media on Facebook at Hey Felicia Wright. How are you planning your 2019? And on my social media, I've been talking about this a lot because that's really where my head is right now, planning 2019. But I do feel like on social media, it is a little early. People are still thinking about Christmas, but I'm like, no, I need to get this done now. So tell me how you are planning your 2019. I would love to hear from you. I am always fascinated with how people plan and the planners that they use, and that's always fun to know. So I hope that was helpful. And I also want to let you know about my free 4-day video series that will help you if you're struggling to find your purpose. So it's a free 4-day video series, and it's called the Finding Your Purpose Journey. And it will help you identify what you are inherently good at and what you enjoy. So if you're struggling out there and you're like, I'm not sure what to do, where to go, if this is even for me, I definitely invite you to head over to bit.ly/yourpurposejourney, and that'll be in the description of this podcast. So head over there and check it out. It's a 4-day video series, so you can just watch it, and it's quick, actionable things for you to get to your purpose. And I call it a journey because I think who we are as people is constantly evolving, but it's going to set you on the right path. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please share it with a friend and leave a review on iTunes if you loved it. So go out there, be brave, get stuff done, and go rogue. I'll see you next time.